This is Irontrader and TGIF. Wow, what a just an absolutely fantastic trading week, and it's not over. We've got one more day left. Okay, we're going to take a look here at Bitcoin, at gold, silver, crude oil, natural gas, and we'll take a look here at the old NQ, which is up about 67. This video is for informative purposes only, not recommendation advice on the stock market ETF. Please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. All right, here we have Bitcoin, your daily and your weekly. All righty, let's see what we got here. Now, you can see here yesterday we popped on, we closed basically above this key 21 SMA. Today we made a little bit higher high. We got all the way up to 118.405. Yesterday's high was 118.240, but now you notice that we're right below this 21-day again here. So, okay, so we got a little bit of pinball action between the 8-day and the 21-day. Now, on the upside, we have to look at that. That 21-day is going to be very, very crucial, that 117.733. If we get above it, we'll go to today's high at 118.405 level. And then what we're going to do, we're going to come up to the top of this candle at 119.785, 124.15. Your retest 121.255. And then we got to come all up here to this 123.615. Now, inverse head and shoulders, left shoulder, head, right shoulder. You do a little flip ski, and that's 125.500 will be the target. Of course, when you have a price that's high, that could blast up to 130, 135. You can see the move in Bitcoins. Once she gets rolling, she gets rolling. Okay, now on the downside, we're going to watch today's low at 116.880, and then we'll be watching this 8-day at 116.201. That's going to be very, very key on a closing basis. Now, if we lose that, we're going to come down to yesterday's low at 114.685. We'll come down to the bottom at 113.860. We have 113.440. Then we have this 113.45 level, and then we'll be looking right here at that 50-day at 111.630 level. Okay, so that's going to be your downside support levels. Now we got to see how that all shakes out here, because we got between the 8-day and the 21-day. I thought we're looking here pretty good. It's just maybe possibly we can still get back up here. It's way early, so we'll have to see how this shakes out. Now RSI fitting at 55. Hell, I could go either way. Your green is still below your red, shows a little bit here of that momentum to the downside. But let's just see how this all shakes out. But today, just watch that 21-day. That's going to be very crucial, that you need to close over so we can go up higher and maybe tag all these and maybe even do the retest. And then 8-day is going to be very key on the support level. If we lose it, we'll follow the candles down and possibly hit that 50-day. Now, on a weekly, wow, still looking very good on a weekly. You can see this, look at this 8 SMA here. Very nicely. Last week we came down, held it. This week we came down, and so far we're holding it. So we got to hold that 113.461. Very key. We lose that, we're going to come to the top there at that candle, 112.345. Right there, 110.150, and then we have that 108.960 level. We lose that, we have that 21-day at sitting at 102.630. But right now here, this is looking here very good. This is not overbought, oversold here if you look at the RSI here or your MACD. So let's just see if we can get above that 21-day and make sure that we hold that 8-day. Okay, let's take a look here now at gold and silver. Okay, here we have gold and silver. Now let's just see what we got here. And I can see we had a nice big topping tail going on there today. 35.34. Wow, look at that. Okay, right above that 35.39 level. That was your recent high. Okay, so right now, but notice that so far it just can't hold it. That's going to be the key. Now we had a really good day yesterday when rallied up here all the way up to that 34.83 level, and which we were looking for this 34.76, and we're looking for that 35.09. So we popped up, but now we closed below. But I've been pointing out here for weeks and weeks here on what a bullish chart this is. Low, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low situation. Very nice. Very nice here. But again, we have this topping tail, so be very careful. If this ends up like this at the end of the day, that's never good. Here's the perfect example of the topping tail. She comes flying right on down. Okay, so right now, what we're really watching on the downside, we're going to be watching that low, that 34.70 level, and then we're going to be watching all the top of these candles here again. Okay, 34.68. We have 34.51 level. So basically, as we're going up resistance, now all that becomes very nice support level. Okay, so again, we want to watch that 34.51 level on a closing basis. If we lose that, we'll come right down to that 34.17. We have 33.86 level, and then we have that nice 33.70 level. But we had a really nice pop and drop going on here. So again, you got to be very careful, because we do have a topping tail candle. Okay, now again, just like I said, If we pop above and close above, back above that 34, 35, 34 level, you're going to 35.50, 3600, and really the whole big, if you do take the measured move, you're looking at 3620, all the way that you could go right on up. But again, with this topping tail situation, I say just be very, very careful, and let's just see how this all trades out here today. Now, your RSI is only sitting at 61. That has plenty of room to run. Look how nice this green is over your red, but we're at the bottom, so you could have a plenty good run here to that 3550, 3600 area, no problem at all, okay? So again, but just watch that topping tail. We'll see how that shakes out today. Now, here we have the old silver. Now, silver, pretty much the same thing. We got back above this 21-day, which is very good. So that's what we want to hold, is that 38.30. That's going to be very, very key. If not, we'll come to yesterday's low, 37.93, and then we have your 8-day at 37.66. We lose that, you're going to come right to the bottom. You're looking at 37.32, and then we have your 50-day at 37.03 level. Now, here on the upside, we got as high as 38.87 level. So what you want to watch is right there is that 38.82. So you're surpassed it there by 5 cents. Okay. So next level we're going to do is we're going to look right there at 39.52, 39.66, 39.91. Okay, that's going to be your upside. Downside, just watch that 21-day. Very, very key on a closing basis. If you lose it, watch the 8-day. We lose that, we have the 50-day down here. Now, our side, well, let me see. Oh, what did I do there? Okay. No big deal. Okay, our side, 57, plenty of room to run. Let's see here. Plenty of room to run here on the RSI. You're only sitting at 57. And then what we have here, you have your MACD. Look how nice. We can just curl that bad boy right back up and take this bad boy higher. Now, the whole key is going to be that 39.91, and that's going to be the retest of that. Okay, now again, you crack through that, 40, 42, 45 is going to be your level. All right, so that's what you're going to be looking for if we can crack above that. So let's just see how this all shakes out. But you can see this 50-day, how nice it's been holding all the way there, and then held it very, very nice here on a closing basis and on a weekly. Now we're back above that 21-day. So actually, this is looking very, very bullish chart also. Okay. So let's take a look here now at crude oil and natural gas. Okay, here we have the crude oil, here we have natural gas. Now we look at the old crude oil, and you can see here what's going on. We came down where we had this low of the 63.64. Now you can see we put in a lower low at 63.19 level, okay? So what we're really watching on a closing basis is that price channel at that 63.64 level, okay? So now you notice that we are below that 64. That was very, very key level here, okay, as how we went below. However, we're right back above that key 63.64. So this is going down, but it's not going down without a fight, okay? So if we start losing that level, that 63.64 level, then we're going to come down to today's low, obviously, 63.19, and then all we do is we just venture right here, okay, 62.82, 62.50, 62.17 level, come down here, 61.06, and then we have right there 60.55, and then we have 59.74. That's going to be your next level. And realistically, if once you start losing all of this, we've got levels all the way down here, 57.74, 55.30, 55.12, all the way down for the retest. Now, this is a very, very bearish looking chart kind of a situation. We had this inverse head and shoulder. See, left shoulder, head, right shoulder. And I said, what we're going to do is when we're over here, I said, once this plays out, we're going to go to that 200-day, and that's where we went, right to the 200-day. Now, this was all that war premium, okay? But you notice as fast as it went on, fast as she came right on off, made a nice bear flag situation, tried to rally up on this whole Russia deal here, but so far, she's coming on off. Now, again, any kind of a catalyst, okay, any kind of a war, any kind of a hurricane season, any kind of disruption will take crude higher. So always, always remember that. Now, what we're watching on the upside is watching today's high, 64.47. Then we're watching the 100-day at 64.97. And then we'll be watching that 8-day, 66.33, 21-day, 66.54, and we have that 50-day, 66.66. Everything is sitting right here. Okay, so that's very, very key. We get above all that resistance, then we have 67.87, and then we have obviously a retest at 70.51. Okay, but right now we have a downtrending situation. We're putting a series of lower lows in there, but let's just see here. This could be a bottoming tail, so watch that 100-day on the way up. Now it's going to be very, very strong, as we can see in the past. Okay, and when it got a resistance, look how nice that supported everything. Okay, once it got over it, but again, watch that 100-day 64.97 level. Okay, so we look at here. This is not overbought. Is it overbought or oversold? 41. That could go much lower or higher. This green is below your red, shows a momentum right to the downside. So let's just see how this all going to shake out. Now, just remember, OPEC is going to be dumping a lot of oil, which they have been. Now they're going to bump it up to, I think it's 500. I don't think it. I know it is 541,000 barrels per day here in September, and all the volunteer cuts now are off the table. No one can do any kind of a cuts. Everything is just right back on the table. So what Saudi Arabia is doing, looking for market share, they're not really looking for price today. Okay, so just remember that. Okay, natural gas. What we got here, natty gas here. All right. Now, you can see here, it's holding the 8-day. Okay, that's going to be very key. Okay, 3.05. We lose that. We go to yesterday's low, 3.03. Then we'll come over to the bottom there at 2.97. And then we have 2.94, 2.92, and then we have your retest at 2.89. But you have to lose that 8-day in order to do that. Upside, we're looking for yesterday's high, that 3.14 level, and we can head for that 3.21. Okay, that is going to be your upside. We get above that, you have right here 3.18 level, 3.26, 3.33, and then we have your 50-day. Now you can see where the 50-day crossed over. 100-day is about ready to cross over. 21 days cross over, and we have a downtrending chart. So we're going to need some kind of a catalyst to take this bad boy higher. So that's what we're watching. Okay, so now 42, that's not overbought or oversold. The green is still, it's over your red, but we got to see how this all shakes out. The key is going to be holding that 8-day on a closing basis. Very, very key. Now, one thing I did want to point out here on the oil, you can see how this 8-day now rolled over the 21-day and the 50-day. The 21-day is now rolling over. This is going to provide very, very strong resistance if it even does get up in this area. But just watch that 100-day. That's going to be very careful. Very, very tough resistance. So just trade that range till she's going to break up here, or we're going to break down, and then we know where our targets are going to be. Okay, let's take a look here now at the old NQ. Okay, here we have the Nasdaq futures. Now you can see here where she just doesn't want to give up the old ghost. Okay, so we're rallying up here, but again, as I say, this is a trader's market. Okay, because any kind of a news like we had last week. Okay, he's going to put tariffs on Canada 35%. Boom, she can come down right now. Okay, so just remember, he's not done with these tariffs. This is a long process, not just a negotiation, but adding tariffs like this. So you're going to hear a lot of the news kind of a situation. So this is basically just a trader's market. Down here was a buy and hold. We know we said, hey, we're way over here. Well, look at it. We're way oversold, way oversold. We have nothing to do but go up. But over here, when we have this, we have nothing to do but go sideways to maybe the down situation. But again, we got to see how it all. So far today, we have an inside day. So we're watching yesterday's high at 23,671 level. But you notice yesterday how we had a really good day. In the morning, it came rallied up high, and then it just kind of sold right off, and it kind of did a little bit of recovery. The short sellers covered here at the end of the day. So look, got to see what's going to happen here on the Friday. Now remember, we got this time frame coming up here. You got about the worst time of the year for the market is just that end of August, September, October kind of an era. Okay, so just always remember that. And now remember, the earnings will be winding down here by the end of this month here. Nvidia's is like the 27th. So just be very, very careful on that situation. Okay, so right now you're looking at a 23,671. That's what we're looking for the target, and then a retest of that 23,845. You get above that, you go into that 24,000. That's going to be your big target. Now the downside here we want to watch is that 8-day. Okay, 23,351, and we want to watch that 21-day. Now we lose that, then we'll come to the bottom of this candle. You're looking at 23,045, and then we'll be looking for the retest that 22,775 level that we had as that Friday's low, and then we're looking at that 22,659 level. But right now, I say this is a trader's market, so just always look at it as a trader's market. A lot of times when it runs up and it runs up to a high, comes right on down, and then it'll retest that high. If you can't get through that high, then she's going to come flying right on down big time. Okay, so just always remember that. Use stops. Okay, trader's market. Use stops and play. Don't worry about buying the bottom. Don't worry about selling the top. Take that meat in the middle and put that money in your pocket every day. That's how a consistent trader is the key to trading. Consistency, okay? Money every day in the pocket. Okay, that's what I got for you. I'll be back here at Midday Trading. We'll take a look at some stocks. Remember, trade what's in front of you, not what you want.